The Green New Deal finally debuted yesterday, and it received a social media beatdown. From farting cows to building new buildings everywhere to giving jobs to people who don't even want to work. We'll go over all the crazy details, plus an unconstitutional tax proposal. We'll look at that, plus a whole lot more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
God bless the United States of America.
All right, it's Friday, and since I started this show last month, actually, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please subscribe to the show. It's really growing. But on Fridays, I like to throw in a little bit of lighter news, some silliness mixed in with the politics. And today, this Friday, I can do it all in one segment. That's because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez finally launched her Green New Deal, and the proposals and the wording and the resolution, it's mind-blowing. We're going to dive into all of that in this show and just see how far left the left has really gone. It's absolutely amazing. But here's AOC kicking things off yesterday.
Today is the day that we truly embark on a comprehensive agenda of economic, social, and racial justice in the United States of America. That's what this agenda is all about.
Okay, so there's a nice socialist start there. She talks about government doing things for social and racial justice and the economy. I think she left one thing out.
Because climate change and our environmental challenges are one of the biggest existential threats to our way of life. Not just as a nation, but as a world.
Okay, so now she covered it. So now we've got everything. It's her proposal that the government step in and just do it all, which leads to the Green New Deal. And I want to go step by step because it's really fascinating how all of this came together, and it's amazing just looking at all the way it's written and how they think they can do all of this stuff. So we're going to start with the whereases. Just like any resolution, you have whereas, which they lay out all the bad stuff that's going on, because with the bad stuff, this is the reason you need the good stuff. And they get to that. So let's start off. First of all, there's the climate whereases, and it shows how bad everything is going on in the climate. Take a look at this chart. This is just some of it. With the way the climate's going, unless we do something different, we're going to have mass migration. 99% of all coral will disappear. Twice the amount of wildfires. 350 million people will be exposed to deadly heat stress. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Plus, there's a whole lot more that they listed. You got to have the droughts, the floods, the earthquakes. It's just craziness.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So to avoid that mass hysteria, they have to do something. So their goal is to have net zero emissions by 2050. So in about 3 years, eliminate all emissions. And so that's the climate side. Then we get to the America whereas, where they list how lame America is and what needs changing. So let's take a look at the America whereases. Okay, life expectancy is declining. 4 decades of wage stagnation, wrong. Hourly wages stagnated since the 70s, wrong. Inadequate resources for workers to confront climate change challenges. Greatest income inequality since the 1920s. All right, so now they're laying out the case. Climate change, America, and now their target audience. They zero in on the target audience. So look at this chart. This is the laundry list of the Democrat constituency. It's amazing. Whereas climate change, pollution, environmental destruction have exacerbated systemic racial, regional, social, environmental, economic injustices by disproportionately affecting, and here we go, indigenous peoples, communities of color, migrant communities, deindustrialized communities, depopulated rural communities, the poor, low-income workers, women, the elderly, the unhoused, people with disability, and youth. So, did you notice anything missing from that list? It seemed to cover wait a second, white males. White males weren't in the list, and there's a really good reason, because white males are causing the whole problem. That's why they're not listed. So they're going to do something for every single group out there. They're going to solve all the problems. And here's their goals. Here's what they want to do. And I'm pulling from the actual resolution and their supplemental frequently asked questions, which if you read these, it was so poorly written. It really looks like it's a high school premillennial project for socialist kids to say, here, what do you want to do for America? And they wrote this up, and it's presented by Cortez as a real piece of congressional work. It's just absolutely amazing. I wonder how many times in that room the word awesome was said, because when they get down through these things, I could just see them saying, yeah, let's do that. That's awesome. And they write it down. They have no idea what they're saying, what they're doing, but hey, man, it sounds good. So they want to do this in 10 years. And let's put up this first chart. Here's some goals that they want to do in 10 years. Move America to 100% clean renewable energy, create millions of family supporting wage union jobs, of course, ensure a just transition for all communities and workers to ensure economic security for people and communities that have historically relied on fossil fuel industries, ensure justice and equity for frontline communities by prioritizing investment, training, climate, community resiliency, I don't know what that is, economic and environmental benefits in these communities. So, and that's just part of the goals. It goes on. Here's more of what they plan to do in 10 years. A job with family sustaining wage, family medical leave, vacations and retirement security, high quality education, including higher education and trade schools, clean air and water and access to nature, because you got to have that, healthy food, high quality health care, safe, affordable, adequate housing, economic environment free of monopolies, economic security for all who are unable or unwilling to work. So, I mean, just take a look at this thing. So free education, free healthcare, housing, access to nature. It's just, and a job for people who don't even want to work. They say, I don't want to work. We're going to give you a job. So, I mean, it's just amazing. And here's some of the projects they plan to do in order to achieve these goals. Let's take a look at this. Here we go. Build infrastructure to create resiliency against climate change related disasters. You need resiliency, I guess. Meet 100% of power demand through clean, renewable energy sources. So no more cars, no more motorcycles, no more airplanes, nothing like that. Upgrade and replace every building in the U.S. to state-of-the-art energy efficiency. So every building in the entire country is going to change. Totally overhaul transportation by massively expanding electric vehicle manufacturing, build charging stations everywhere. That's one of the ones where I think in the room they had to say awesome, because it's like, how many do we put in? How far away do we space them? Do we base it on geography? Do we base it on urban areas? No, man, we're just going to put them everywhere. I mean, that's cool. Awesome. That's charging stations everywhere. Okay, so here's some other notables that I just found really interesting in the Green New Deal. So take a look. Okay, they set a goal to get to net zero rather than zero emissions in 10 years. This was actually some of the questions. They had some questions that, in case people asked, here's some answers, all right? We set a goal to get to net zero rather than zero emissions in 10 years because we aren't sure we'll be able to fully get rid of farting cows in airplanes that fast. So, I mean, that is something to consider, I guess. At the end of the day, that is an investment in our economy that should grow our wealth as a nation. So the question isn't how we'll pay for it, but what we will do with our new shared prosperity. All right. If that doesn't sound like, socialism and communism coming right at you, we have a massive overhaul run by the government, massive new government programs. It's not important how we pay for it. It's going to be our shared prosperity. We are all going to benefit. All right, and here we go. Once again, we're not saying that there isn't a role for the private sector investments. We're just saying that the level of investment required will need every actor to pitch in, and that the government is best placed to be the prime driver. So that kind of sums up the whole idea of the Green New Deal. And when you read through the the wording, read through this resolution, it really becomes quite scary. I mean, funniness aside, writing aside, it talks about the just transition to this new form of United States of America, basically, the just transition. And when I heard that sentence right near the beginning, and I think it's mentioned throughout, or in at least several other places, the just transition, trust us, we are going to do this. We are going to run the country by this committee of know-it-all leftists that will transition the economy for you. We're going to give you everything. In the meantime, the country is going to be taxed to death, industries will implode, and we will be left as a Venezuela of North America. It's just absolutely astounding that this could be pushed as public policy, realistic public policy in the United States of America. And what's even more amazing, I don't have the tweets here, but the number of people that have jumped on board as far as leftists, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, presidential candidates, they think this is all a good deal. They think this is awesome, and this is the way to go. And to see the craziness, where it's no wonder we have proposals like this, though, when most millennials actually favor socialism. They have a negative view of capitalism. So when you elect millennials, this is what you're going to get. And now you have other proposals that are catering to this same crazy leftist crowd. Elizabeth Warren just came out with her wealth tax, and it's not going to go anywhere, but it shows that the Democrats are stepping over each other to try and see how far left they can go and who can soak the rich more than the other. So her proposal is a 2% tax on net worth above $50 million and 3% over $1 billion. So, of course, it's cool because we're talking millionaires and billionaires, and everyone hates those people, right? I mean, we shouldn't aspire to be rich. The only reason that they, of course, succeeded was because they cheated. They rigged the system. That's the only reason. And according to the left, that's the only reason these people could advance. And so we have to right that wrong. It's no way possible that they got to where they were through hard work, through determination, through skills, through intelligence, through perseverance, through creativeness. None of that matters. The fact is, they are where they are. Something must have gone wrong because there's people that aren't where they are. So we need to right that wrong. And so her proposal is not going to go anywhere. It's unconstitutional. They had to rewrite the Constitution, amend it to get the income tax. And now she wants a tax on stuff that you have. So anyway, that's our show for today. It just shows you what's going on in the Green New Deal. I'm going to include links to both the resolution and the frequently asked questions so you can read it for yourself. But leave your comments. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about Cortez and all these proposals. But have a good weekend. Please subscribe and please tell your friends. I'm Bobby Eberly. This is a 13-minute news hour.